Is making news. The Missouri Supreme Court yesterday rejected a challenge to the state's new congressional map. We'll find out more at 6:03.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. County Executive Page has long maintained his work as an anesthesiologist while serving in office was unpaid. The county council says they have evidence showing otherwise. I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly sunny today, breezy and warmer this afternoon, high 84.
The pitch is grounded back to O'Brien. He's got it on one hop. He flips to first, and the Cardinals win it. Riley O'Brien picks up save number 12.
Best road record in baseball. Did you know that? Cardinals playing great. We have in 15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump has weighed in ahead of touchdown in China.
A lot of good things are going to happen.
He's due to arrive in Beijing any minute now for a summit with President Xi Jinping. Correspondent Anna Corin is there.
President Trump, he needs President Xi's help to end the Iran war. As we know, China is one of Iran's closest allies, certainly its largest trading partner. It buys 90% of Iran's oil. But more than that, China needs to have the Strait of Hormuz open as well.
Back home, another Trump administration official is out. CBS's Linda Kenyon from the White House.
Marty McCary is resigning as head of the Food and Drug Administration. He was an outspoken opponent of COVID measures during the pandemic, but in recent weeks, health industry executives, abortion opponents, and others complained about him.
McCary also broke with the administration over fruit-flavored vapes. An inside look at the quarantine unit in Omaha, where 16 Americans are being monitored after they left a hantavirus-infected cruise ship. Jake Rosemarin has posted a video.
We have a dresser, a fridge, a smart TV. Here's my thermometer for temperature checks during the day.
Doctors say one passenger who tested positive is asymptomatic. French health officials say a passenger hospitalized in Paris is now in critical condition on life support. It's curtains for alligator Alcatraz.
CBS News has learned the detention facility in the Everglades could be shut down as early as next month due to its escalating operating costs. Last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said the facility was always designed to be temporary.
If we shut the lights out on it tomorrow, we will be able to say it served its purpose.
Ariane Betancourt's father is one of the 1,400 detainees still at Alligator Alcatraz.
The families of the detainees are going to be out here with sledgehammers ready to tear this place down ourselves.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Now to London. A royal welcome for King Charles, who touched on global affairs in his speech opening a new session of British Parliament today.
An increasingly dangerous and volatile world threatens the United Kingdom, with the conflict in the Middle East only the most recent example.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer looked on amid his own fight to keep his job. Gas at an average $4.51 a gallon in the U.S. today. Dow futures down 139. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
It is 6:03, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine, clear skies, and 59 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The Missouri Supreme Court has moved quickly to announce 3 court decisions about the state's new congressional voting boundaries.
Hearing 3 court cases challenging Missouri's congressional redistricting decisions, the state Supreme Court has upheld the legislature's new voting boundaries. The High Court heard 3 lawsuits Tuesday that argued the 2025 congressional districts are not compact like the law requires. The other one attempted to suspend the new map until voters could decide if they support it. Missouri lawmakers passed the new map at the urging of President Trump in an effort to give the state's Republicans another seat in Congress. From the Supreme Court in Jefferson City, Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
St. Louis County is beginning to form regulations around data centers for the unincorporated parts of the county. Director of Planning Jacob Tremble says they're hoping to have proposed regulations for the public in August. However, they don't have to wait to submit their input.
Residents can submit their comments starting today all the way through the end of August. Additionally, we have launched a dedicated project website on the department's webpage where you can track our progress and which will house all of our research materials.
County Executive Sam Page says they haven't received any proposals to construct a data center in unincorporated St. Louis County.
The St. Louis County Ethics Committee say they have evidence showing County Executive Page was paid for his work as an anesthesiologist.
After issuing subpoenas to SSM and the Department of Social Services, documents given to the committee show County Executive Page worked 85 days as an anesthesiologist since 2022, all on weekdays and mostly on Mondays. Invoices show he was also paid hundreds of dollars for this work. Committee Chair Councilman Mike Archer says, paid or not, Page having other work is a violation of the charter.
That is taking time away. He is effectively unavailable to perform the duties of St. Louis County Executive, to which he was elected.
Page, who stood by his longtime defense he was volunteering and unpaid, says he can easily do both by conducting county business over the phone.
What we do as an anesthesiologist is juggle a lot of phone calls, including being responsible for a patient or two patients who are under anesthesia.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
After the committee voted unanimously to refer evidence to the Attorney General and prosecuting attorney, the full council took a similar vote.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries.
Shortly after that, Page left the meeting saying he was headed to a town hall.
It's been 6 years since St. Louis County Executive Steve Stenger resigned and pleaded guilty to federal corruption charges. The state audit that followed gave the county 30 recommendations to fix. Looking at what went wrong, a new follow-up from the county auditor finds only a third of that work is fully done.
That audit was because of former county executive Steve Stinger's various activities that landed him in prison.
Citizen commenter Tom Sullivan at the county council meeting last night ticked off a list of county troubles that crossed multiple administrations.
There have been plenty of reasons why St. Louis County needs a competent auditor. In 2024, it was revealed there was payroll falsification in the Department of Health. An employee was only working 1 or 2 days a week, yet was paid for a full week. Also in 2024, it was disclosed the county overpaid dozens of employees more than $195,000 over 8 years. Some no longer even work for the county. 2022, it was found the county overpaid Brentwood as much as $7 million in sales tax revenue. It was eventually resolved, but at a cost of $200,000 to the county. Back when Charlie Dooley was county executive, a county official embezzled $3.4 million over several years. A member of the county council was once convicted of taking cash bribes. Then there is my favorite, $2,200 for a clothes washer and dryer purchased by the county executive's office when Steve Stinger was the county executive. No one claims to know anything about it.
He tied it to what's coming up on the ballot, Proposition U, an internet sales tax measure.
It's hard to understand how voters can approve it, not when there is little reason to have confidence in county government and how the new funds would be spent.
Among the audit items still unresolved, having written into law that the county council has a right to oversight of county contracts and lease agreements.
From the KMOX business desk, Ameren's top executive saw his pay jump nearly 50% last year. CEO Marty Lyons took home $14.1 million in 2025, up from $9.7 million the year before. That's a sharp climb from the Warner Baxter era. The Civic leader and retired CEO earned $10.1 million in 2020.
According to the Post-Dispatch, Lyons now earns 112 times more than Ameren's median worker. Filings also reveal more than $184,000 in personal charter flights, though Ackerman says customers don't foot that bill.
We'll check the roads next at 6:08.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. Let's turn our attention to Roger Brand, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, there's still no change, Debbie, on our crash on westbound 70. It's still shut down at David Hochul Parkway. It looks to me like you can get off there and then get back on the highway using the exit and on-ramps. However, the jam on westbound 70 is solid back to pretty much Wentzville Parkway, so I would just get off at Wentzville Parkway and take that North Service Road, or you can take Veterans Memorial on the south side if you want. The choice is yours, but the North Service Road looks good all the way out to David Hochul Parkway, so the choice is yours, but that is a solid jam, and like I said, it's shut down, so you're pretty much not going anywhere currently on westbound 70, and they're still working that earlier crash, trying to wrap it up. Southbound 55 south of Merrimack Bottom, that was the overturned SUV. Right lane's blocked, but as you enter that work zone, so traffic is really not bothered by it at all, getting by fine. And in both these instances, opposite direction traffic, which is the bulk of the rush hour flow, is not paying attention, so there are no eastbound or corresponding northbound delays past these scenes. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Let's check in with AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
A good deal of sunshine today, breezy and quite warm this afternoon, high 84. It'll cloud up early tonight with a thunderstorm crossing the area. There can be some gusty winds and a downpour with any thunderstorm. Then it'll clear up late tonight, low 57. Sunshine returns tomorrow, a breezy, cooler but nice day, the high 75. Sunshine mixes with clouds later Thursday, the high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, the sun is up. It's 59 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski says she's done waiting for Congress to make year-round E15 fuel sales permanent. The U.S. House is set to vote today on her legislation that would lift an old regulation blocking summertime sales of the higher ethanol blend. Budzinski says farmers and fuel retailers have been stuck relying on temporary waivers for too long.
Today, we are here to say enough. Enough of the excuses, enough kicking this can down the road. The time for permanent nationwide year-round E15 is now.
A similar provision was stripped from last December's year-end spending bill. Budzinski is one of the lead Democrats pushing for this week's standalone vote.
Missouri's crackdown on illegal slot machines just involved a raid in Jefferson County. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway and the Missouri State Highway Patrol yesterday conducted a 4-county sting operation that seized 35 illegal gambling devices and nearly $60,000 in illicit funds. 5 businesses were targeted, including the Ten Brook Station Lounge in Arnold, the only location in the St. Louis area. Hanaway says the so-called gray market era for these machines is over. Operators now face 21 felony charges and 5 misdemeanors.
Mayor Kara Spencer is pushing back hard against the state-run police board.
Spencer says the board's demand for nearly $68 million more in city funding is, quote, clearly an intentional attempt to squeeze the city dry of every last penny, end quote. She calls the board's claim that city reserves and Rams settlement money should count toward general revenue and thus the police budget, quote, absurd, warning it would force layoffs and service cuts. Spencer was also questioning whether the lawsuit was legally authorized, saying the closed-door meeting where commissioners voted to sue was improperly called by the board's attorney in violation of the bylaws. A spokesman for the police department said in an email, quote, the executive session was held in compliance with the board's bylaws, end quote. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
New technology being implemented in St. Louis garbage trucks could cut route times. The city's truck drivers are receiving tablets they will mount in their trucks to follow their routes. Refuse Commissioner Randy Breitenfeld says drivers have been using physical paper route maps up until now.
Instead of my drivers looking at paper maps every day, being able to have this digitized, that would hopefully save them. I'm hoping an hour to two today on every route they run. That's probably wishful thinking, but it will definitely decrease the amount of time they spend on the route.
Breitenfeld says every driver should have the new technology installed in their trucks by October.
Baseball's owners and players are back at the bargaining table. Major League Baseball and the Players Union yesterday began official talks on a new labor deal ahead of the December 1st expiration of their current contract. The big question hanging over the talks is whether the league moves toward a salary cap, something owners want and the union opposes consistently. The Cardinals and other mid-market teams could potentially benefit from a cap system. Negotiations are expected to continue throughout the year.
Cardinals erupted in the first inning against the Athletics yesterday. Jordan Walker got into it with an RBI single. Jose Fermin with a two-run double. Joel Pozo with an RBI single. And the Cardinals, in a blink, were up 4-0 before Andre Palante ever took the hill. And then
the 1-2 pitch is a slider and a swing and a miss. That is his swing and a missed pitch.
Shea Langoliers strikes out there, but he would come back with a vengeance. Second inning.
1-2 on Langoliers. Palante delivers, and that ball's hit hard to left field. And on the move is Fermin, and he can't get it. It's going to go to the wall. And he's trying to pick it up. He misjudged that ball, but 2 runs will score.
And the Cardinals are suddenly in a 4-3 game. This Cardinals team doesn't back down, though. Palante was able to get things going. The bullpen backed him up, and in the 6th inning, rewarded.
3-2 pitch is hammered to right field. Is it going to stay in the Parker? Is it going to get out? Oh, it's out! It's into the bullpen of the A's, and Weatherholt has just hit his 8th home run of the year, and the Cardinals now lead 6-3 on Weatherholt's big fly.
Can the Cardinals hold that lead? Palante went 5 innings, giving up 3 runs on 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. Ryan Stanek pitched the scoreless 6th inning, and then Jojo Romero a scoreless 7th. George Soriano came into the game in the 8th. He's turned into a pretty good setup man, but he ran into the aforementioned Langoliers.
And done a nice job for the Cardinals. His next pitch is hammered to deep left field. That's a no-doubter. Oh, my goodness, that's up on the roof. It's over the roof in left field. That was a long, long home run by Langoliers, his 12th of the season, and it's now 6-4 St. Louis. A leadoff home run in the bottom of the 8th inning.
But the Soriano experience continued, and he made his way through the 8th inning. That's important because they hand the ball off in the 9th to Riley O'Brien, runner on.
O'Brien is set. Checks the runner, delivers home. Sweeper is hit on the ground to the right side. On the second for 1. On the first, double play. 4-6-3 double play.
One more to get, and that would be Jeff McNeil.
The pitch is grounded back to O'Brien. He's got it on one hop. He flips to first, and the Cardinals win it. Riley O'Brien picks up save number 12 as McNeil slams his bat into the ground, making the final out. And the Cardinals and Andre Palante are winners here tonight in Sacramento. Game 1 of 3, 6-4 Cardinals.
Cardinals get a win, and the Cubs lost again. So the Cardinals are 2.5 out, tied for second in the NL Central, and will play the A's again tonight at 8:40 on KMOX. Red Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. City also plays tonight. St. Louis City SC at home against LAFC. Energizer Park, what a beautiful night for that. 7:30 start tonight for City. Stanley Cup playoffs, Montreal loses at home to Buffalo 3-2. Sabres get the win, and even that series at 2 games apiece. Vegas beat Anaheim 3-2 in overtime to take a 3-2 series lead. The San Antonio Spurs, they got Victor Wembanyama back, and they dropped the hammer on Minnesota 126-97 to take a 3-2 series lead. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Hey, May is a busy month around here. You got people coming into town, don't you? Family, friends, graduations, weddings. There's a lot going on in the month of May. Well, take a break. And what's more St. Louis than taking your friends and family to the historic Anheuser-Busch Brewery located in the heart of Soulard? A visit to the brewery is a perfect way to kick off summer in St. Louis. And there's something for everyone. Walk the historic grounds. See where Budweiser is brewed and where it has been brewed for 150 years. Enjoy a day fresh beer and meet the world-renowned Budweiser Clydesdales in their historic stables. You can do all of that at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, the historic brewery right here in your hometown. Reserve your tickets today at BudweiserTours.com. That's BudweiserTours.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:21, and it's time for us to check the roadways and the weather. It looks like a beautiful morning out the windows here of Studio B in downtown West. Let's see how things are looking out on the roadways with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some good news out west on 70, Debbie. This traffic report's the service of Artistic Decks. They reopened the traffic lanes. In fact, just after our last report, they reopened the westbound 70 lanes at David Hokel Parkway. Now, it's still jammed at Wentzville Parkway, but it starts picking up the pace about midway out to that point. Still a lot of congestion, but it is getting better, so that's the good news. They completely wrapped up that crash now. South 55 and Merrimack Bottom, no longer any lane restrictions at all. Never really were any delays, but we're building volume on northbound 55. There's a little slowdown at Highway A, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, Bayless up through Holly Hills. That's all getting busier on northbound 55. Southbound 61, back to Wentzville for a second, start to see a little slowdown at Wentzville Parkway, but after that, get on to 64 or 70. Take your pick. You're wide open. And it looks like we have either a stall or a crash westbound at the Illinois end of the Musial Veterans Bridge. Traffic is starting to back up at Packers Avenue, but otherwise, the Illinois interstates look great for you headed into downtown. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This Memorial Day, Artistic Decks is honoring the season with rollback pricing. Precision craftsmanship meets old school American value to help you save big. Quality you can trust. Call 314-280-0821. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable.
Weather, we're looking at a sunny, breezy day today. Pleasant, high 73. Cool, near 50 tonight for the low. And then tomorrow, sunny again and nice with a high of 75. It's 60 right now.
More Americans are turning to personal loans just to get by. With me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line, Lending Tree's Chief Consumer Finance Analyst, Matt Schultz. Matt, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So traditionally, what have personal loans been used for?
By far, the most common use for personal loans traditionally have been debt consolidation and credit card refinancing. So if you are paying 25+% on a credit card and you want to bring the interest that you're paying down a little bit, you can lean on a personal loan, and a lot of people use that. But what our report showed is that a lot of people are using personal loans now for everyday bills, and that's certainly not a positive sign.
Do you see any age groups relying on them more than others?
Yeah, generally what we're finding is the younger borrowers are the most likely to use personal loans for everyday bills. About 11% of the personal loan requests that we saw at LendingTree from Gen Z are for everyday bills, and that's a good bit higher than other age groups.
So when we look at terms and rates of personal loans compared to credit cards, what are the pros and cons there?
Well, with a personal loan can be really good because it generally, especially if you have pretty good credit, can give you a significantly lower interest rate than a credit card would. But the one thing that you don't have with a personal loan is that a credit card gives you a little more freedom in the long term because it's an open line of credit, and that can be good in that it can kind of act as an emergency fund for people who may not have that sort of option, but it can also be dangerous because it can give you some freedom to potentially overspend and run up more debt.
Well, one thing that I note from your study too, that consumers with lower credit scores are more likely to borrow under a personal loan for basic needs. What kind of cycle can that get those consumers into?
It can be real trouble. And with personal loans, while people with good credit can get pretty good rates on personal loans, people with poor credit can end up getting stuck with some pretty high rates. So a lot of times when you're talking about low credit borrowers, they simply may not have that many better options. So personal loans may be what they end up leaning towards.
So if someone's considering a personal loan, what are some of the things that you would recommend they consider, Matt?
Well, the first thing is to shop around and compare at sites like LendingTree, because there can be very real differences in offers that you would get from various lenders in terms of the amount that you might be offered, the fees that might come along with it, and the interest rates that come along. So that's a really important thing. But really, perhaps the most important is to understand why you're applying for the loan and understand exactly how much you can afford to actually pay off. Because just because a lender is willing to give you a certain amount of money doesn't mean that it's the right fit for you. So understanding what you need and your ability to pay that off is really, really important.
That is Matt Schultz, LendingTree's Chief Consumer Finance Analyst. Matt, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
It is now 5:27, and that time check is sponsored for you by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Listen,
I meant 627.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You meant 627. That's okay. We understand.
Don't go back to bed.
Yeah, we understand. Lederman Law Firm. Here's something people don't realize about estate planning. The documents alone aren't enough. I'm going to say that one more time. Estate planning documents alone aren't enough. My family's been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years. And one of the things I really appreciate about them is that I don't just work with one person. I work with a team. At the Lederman Law Firm, I work with several different people. It is a true team. Lawyers, paralegals, legal assistants. Everyone knows the plan. A major part of that, their dedicated funding team. They help make sure our assets and our beneficiaries are actually lined up with our plan. Our accounts, our property, all of it working together the way it's supposed to. If your assets and beneficiaries don't match your plan, it doesn't matter how good the documents are. Your plan may not work the way you expected. The Lederman Law Firm's team walks you through that process, and your assets stay in sync with your plan as your life and assets change. It's a huge reason we trust them. If you're in St. Louis, you want an estate plan that actually works, check out the Lederman Law Firm, ledermanlaw.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. This season, we're continuing a limited spring opportunity, offering select enhancements designed to elevate your home and your experience. From a finished basement recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades, or flexible options like design credits or closing cost savings. These offers are available in select communities for a limited time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Gas prices are brutal, but Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers, has your back. They're giving away $77 gas gift cards, fueling St. Louis all gas, no brakes. Enter until May 17th at KaufmanTownsley.com. Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis strong.
It is 6:30 and the sun is shining brightly. It's 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's go to Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we continue to improve on Highway 70. In fact, westbound 70 is pretty much back on track now. Wentzville Parkway out to David Hokel Parkway. We do have delays eastbound, east of David Hokel into Wentzville Parkway. Looks like there could be a minor incident there. We'll check on it. Southbound 61, Highway P, just about midway down to Wentzville Parkway. A slowdown running through there. Northbound 55, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, you have slow going through Butler Hill. A minor crash on the shoulder there. And then stop-and-go pockets from Bayless up through Virginia. Northbound 270, just a little busy at 64 entering the work zone at Ladue. On the Illinois side, we still have this incident on westbound 70 just before the Musel Veterans Bridge. Traffic, there's a lane blocked and traffic's jammed back at Packers Avenue. Westbound 64 is also starting to slow through 159. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Another beautiful day in store, a little cooler than yesterday. Breezy and sunny, 73 degrees. Sunny to partly cloudy tomorrow, high 75. Then we could see a thunderstorm Friday morning. Otherwise, the rest of the day, just clouds and sun with a high of 84. It's 59 out there right now.
Missouri's new congressional map survives several court challenges, though the fight isn't over.
The Missouri Supreme Court has upheld the state legislature's new congressional voting boundaries. The High Court heard 3 lawsuits Tuesday that argued the 2025 congressional districts are not compact like the law requires. The other one attempted to suspend the new map until voters could decide if they support it. The new map aims to give Republicans another seat in Congress. From the Missouri Supreme Court in Jefferson City, Elisa Nelson, MissouriNet.
United for Storm Recovery. That's a new initiative from the United Way of Greater St. Louis to help residents still struggling to recover from last year's tornado. About $1 million will be earmarked for ongoing and emerging needs. The Urban League is getting $100,000 for its recovery center. 314 Oasis and Westside Missionary Baptist will get $50,000 each for their resiliency centers. Home Sweet Home is getting $100,000 to help families get beds and other essential home items.
Victims of the May 16th tornado may struggle with their credit for years after the disaster.
The senior manager of the Community Development Research Team at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, Nishesh Chalisse, says credit card debt and delinquencies have risen in neighborhoods hit by last year's storm. Chalisse says there's a risk they'll get trapped in a cycle.
You first depend upon a little bit of debt. Maybe you cannot repay it all because you are losing wages, because you cannot go to work yet. You go into collections, your credit score gets ruined, your interest gets higher.
He points out past research shows lower credit scores among storm victims over time. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It is now 6:33 and the news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Stick around. We've got your Money Minute from Bloomberg coming up next at 6:33.
1 year after the devastating tornado struck our hometown.
We're in carpool waiting, and they said their cars literally lifted up and slammed down. Their windows were shattered.
KMOX looks back at the resilience.
Fell in on the bed, right where I sleep at.
And at the challenges which remain.
Does State Farm deliberately underpay claims?
Thursday night from 8 to 10, we'll bring you an encore of our emotional documentary, Resilience, immediately followed by a new special looking at progress made in the year since. Thursday night on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
It's 6:35, and your Money Minute is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Chinese suppliers to major retailers such as Walmart and Costco say they're hiking prices for the first time in years. The increases depend on the product and type of customer. Manufacturers are raising prices by up to about 5% for some products for the big box retailers, and the increases go up to 15% for smaller merchants. Home furnishings like festive cushions are some of the hardest hit products, with prices rising as much as 15%. Speaking of China, traders are banking that this week's summit between President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping could unlock a series of trade deals, especially around semiconductors. Ahead of that, S&P futures are up 15 points. However, Dow futures are falling 115. And Samsung Electronics has failed to reach a last-minute pay agreement with its largest labor union, which could lead to a strike at the memory chip giant. Workers are pushing for a greater share of profits generated by the AI infrastructure boom. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, this is a great time to get your garage door tuned up before the summer. You know, summer, it's probably as active as ever with the kids back home full time and going in and out of that garage. You're out there running errands, back and forth you go, up and down the garage door goes. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis can tune up your garage door, and your garage door does see a lot more use. You need it tuned up once a year. Annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis can do that for you. Even if you didn't get the garage door from them, doesn't matter. They tune up every brand. They know all brands. They know how to do it. 26-point tune-up, one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. All you have to do to get started is go to overheaddoorsstlouis.com. It's that simple. Overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Get all the doors done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Athletics, Cameron Total Access 745. First pitch 840. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:39, and Iran's military may be in better shape than President Trump's administration is suggesting, according to CBS. President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have said Iran's military has been decimated. But the New York Times has learned classified intelligence reports indicate Iran has regained access to most of its missile sites, launchers, and underground facilities. Iran has restored 30 of its 33 missile sites along the Strait of Hormuz, still posing a threat to American warships and oil tankers. Asked about the intelligence reports, a White House spokesman says Iran's military has been crushed.
6:40 now. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we just have a few slowdowns out in the Westplex right now. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, a couple little spots between David Hochul and Wentzville Parkway. Eastbound 64 right at Prospect, southbound 61 at Wentzville Parkway, and briefly at Highway P. So it's really not that bad through that area right now. We are getting slow traffic on northbound 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack. The right lane's Butler Hill up to 270. We had a minor crash on the shoulder there. And then it's heavy again from Bayless all the way up through Virginia. Northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester. And then briefly at 64 is kind of slow. A water main break southbound Lindbergh in the Huntley area before you get down to Manchester Road. Some restrictions. You can get around it, but there's a short back up there. It looks like they cleared the incident westbound 70 at the Illinois end of the Musel Veterans Bridge. It's really hard for me to tell, but the jam is worse. The front end opens up a little bit, but it's jammed at 64 on westbound 70 right now. And westbound 64 has heavy traffic both sides of 159 in Fairview Heights, but it's clear across the Poplar so far. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41, and we need to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I think today might be even better than yesterday.
Well, he would agree with you. And he has told us
there.
Sunny, breezy, not as warm as yesterday, but pleasant, a high of 73 degrees. Tonight, clear and cool, low near 50. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy and nice. Joe says high 75. Friday, a thunderstorm in the morning. Otherwise, intervals of clouds and sun. Breezy, warmer, high 84. It starts to feel like summer this weekend. Saturday, humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. A high of 84. Sunday is going to be a hot one. Sunny, breezy, and hot. A high of 92 degrees. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's 58 in Florissant, 57 in St. Peter's, sunny and 60 downtown at the Arch.
It's now 6:42, and a statewide task force met Monday in Jefferson City to begin developing Missouri's strategic plan to develop nuclear energy. Matt Sanford is executive director of the University of Missouri's Nuclear Research Reactor. He tells MissouriNet he is charged with evaluating and guiding the state's plan.
The University of Missouri is very proud to be a part of the task force and looking forward to contributing, especially in the areas of workforce development, workforce training, and all the scientific expertise we have here.
Sanford points to the Nuclear Research Reactor, the building of a new one on the way, and this week's groundbreaking of a future radioisotope science center. The center is intended to develop radioactive isotopes for research and manufacturing.
With more than 3,700 children now waiting for help, Missouri education leaders are looking at next steps for the state's child care subsidy wait list. Christine Wynn is a program manager with the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. She told the State Board of Education the department is proposing changes to better manage who remains eligible and how the benefit is used.
First category would be any child with a defined special need. Second would be a child experiencing homelessness. Third being families with a income below 100% of the federal poverty level.
Wynn says if approved, the changes would keep children in protective services off the wait list and allow the state to cut off benefits for families who aren't regularly using the subsidy by adding an excessive absence policy.
Missouri's education commissioner is stepping down at the end of this month. Carla Esslinger announced her retirement this week during a closed-door State Board of Education session. She said in a note to staff she wants to pursue opportunities that allow her to spend more time with her family and explore new endeavors.
The return of recess. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. There's a new push to get kids back on the playground as the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends schools make more time for recess.
The Academy of Pediatrics has always supported free play for kids. But it's been increasingly threatened over time. And in school, of course, the drive for test scores and things have really pushed other things out of the way, including recess.
As kids get older, they're more on their screens. And so it's really helpful, I think, for outdoor activity and recess to be happening as they get older. And we know teenagers also have poor dietary quality and also are more sedentary than our younger kids. So I think it is a really interesting point of these recommendations. And I think it's really great.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Let's get a little Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens and making memories. We'll tell you a little bit about them here in just a second. Let's tell you about the Oakland Athletics. You know what? They have the worst home ERA in all of baseball, 6.02 coming into last night's game. How about that? And the leader in the AL West. But still, that high ERA. Could the Cardinals jump on it? Absolutely yes, Jordan Walker.
Swing and a line drive left center field. That's going to get down. Weatherholt will score from third. 1-0 Cardinals on the RBI from Jordan Walker, his 30th RBI of the year.
Later, Jose Fermin.
Next pitch to Fermin is lined into right center field. That's going to get into the gap. 1 run scores. Walker is rounding third, and they're going to send him home. The throw is being relayed to the plate. He is safe. Walker slides under the tag. A 2-run double for Jose Fermin, and the Cardinals lead 3-0 early.
The Cardinals also have Joel Pozo. Good move here, righty facing the lefty starter.
Next pitch is hit up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit on an 0-2 pitch. He went down to get a changeup, lined it past the pitcher Springs, and RBI for Pozo. Another two-out hit for the Cardinals, and it's now 4-0.
Could the Cardinals hang on for the win? The answer is yes, although Shea Langoliers made it tough on him. A 2-run double in the second, a solo homer in the 8th to cut the lead to 6-4. But at that point, the damage had been done because J.J. Weatherholt hit a 2-run homer. Cardinals win it 6-4. They get good bullpen work. They get good start out of Andre Palante, who goes 5 and gets the win. And Ollie Marmol gets a visit from Cardinal TV's Chip Carey.
Okay, Ollie, always great to get back on the horse with a win after a day off. Your first game here, you jumped on their guy early and never looked back.
No, it's good to start the game that way. You get the guy in motion, Herrera hits behind him, first and third, Walker drives him in, and then it was good to see a couple guys against the lefty that were in the lineup today. And Fermin and Pozo driving them in to give us an early lead. So I love the fact that we came out of the gate strong.
Your team is relentless offensively. You've talked about that all year. The relentlessness with which you attack plate appearances. 81 runs on 2 strike hits. That's more than any team in the big leagues, and a handful of them again tonight.
Yeah, we have to do that. We talked about it from the very beginning, just taking tough at-bats, regardless of what's going on, whether we're up or down, doesn't matter where we're at in the game, just being relentless in the way we approach it and just create opportunities to continue to score.
And unlikely heroes, Fermin and Pedro Pajes. Remarkable for Pajes, especially 3 plate appearances in a month, and he gets a big hit.
No, he hasn't played in a while. Pozo did a really nice job today of driving that run in. I was excited to see him in the lineup, give him an opportunity there. And Fermin drove in a couple as well. So really good to see.
Your thoughts on Palante's start? First win ever in California. How about that?
He wasn't as sharp as he wanted to be. After the challenge play, that made him pay a little bit, but was able to throw up 3 zeros after that and give us a good look.
And lastly, for Riley, you always want to get back on the horse and pitch well. He did that tonight.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. It was good to get him right back out there after the day off. And in a meaningful situation with a 2-run lead there, he gets a big double play with a pinch hitter and then able to close it out. So solid day.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go.
Cardinals are 2.5 back in the NL Central, tied for second place. They visit the A's tonight at 8:40. City plays tonight at Energizer Park, 7:30 start against LAFC. Jen Cease will have a preview of that in a half hour. Colorado hosting Minnesota tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs with a chance to win the series. Buffalo tied Montreal 2-2 with a 3-2 win yesterday. Vegas went up 3-2 on Anaheim with a 3-2 overtime win. And the Spurs went up 3-2 on Minnesota with a big win at home. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall Tire Dressing. Plus, get 4 times O-Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his no-holds-barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:51 and time to check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that'd be good news for 70 drivers headed to the Muso Veterans Bridge. They did clear that incident as I surmised, and it's thinned out. No longer any delays through there. There's just a little slowdown westbound 64 at 159. Otherwise, on the Illinois side, southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway, a couple of slow spots. Eastbound 70 into David Hochul Parkway is a little bit busy. Eastbound 64 is slow. Prospect toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and then again right through 170 in Hanley. Northbound 270. The bulk of the volume is Big Bend up through Manchester, and then a little backup approaching 64 up to Ladue. Those 64 ramps starting to back up. Northbound 55 north of Richardson to the Merrimack's heavy. Butler Hill Mattis area where we had a crash on the shoulder, and then Bayless up through Holly Hills is slow after that. Next updated 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says beautiful day today. It's going to be a high of 73, low near 50 tonight. Another beautiful day tomorrow with a high of 75. Currently, it's 61 downtown.
The news continues at 6:52.
And there's nothing like hearing your child in distress and then not knowing what's going on. And then the words, "It's taking me."
That's Tina Grimes. You'll hear her and her daughter Maya here on KMOX as we remember that horrible day last May 16th.
And Mom, it's taking me, it's taking me, it's taking me.
That's what Tina Grimes heard her daughter Maya say over and over on the phone while the EF3 tornado was hitting. And by the way, Maya's mom was 500 miles away.
Didn't really want to think think about it because whatever it was still bad. But I just kept going, is she being carjacked? Like, what's it? Like, what could be taking her?
But Maya didn't let it take her. After being ejected from her car and sliding 40 yards on Union, she grabbed onto a light pole. Thanks to technology, Maya had put the app My Location on her mom's phone back when she was in high school, and that's how Tina tracked her daughter's location. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Be listening to the Chris and Amy show 9:00 this morning to hear more of that interview. The Secretary of the Army admits his service could have handled job cuts better at Rock Island Arsenal, the Quad Cities weapons plant up in the Mississippi River from St. Louis. In March, 155 civilian workers there were labeled surplus. Some were told to choose fast, take a posting out of state, or lose their civil service careers entirely. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth wasn't having it at a hearing yesterday.
2 to 5 days. That's it. 2 to 5 days to make a life-altering career decision. I don't think this is how we should be treating our patriotic career civilians.
Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll didn't push back.
Giving 2 to 5 days is probably not sufficient for that decision in hindsight.
Rock Island is one of the largest federal manufacturing sites in the Midwest, producing munitions used by our troops overseas today. Duckworth says she has Driscoll's commitment to give her advance notice on any further workforce moves at the arsenal.
A memorial yesterday at St. John Apostle and Evangelist Church for the 107 FBI employees who have died during duty. That includes one special agent killed in St. Louis County in January of 1990, killed while executing a search warrant.
Somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Dennis Rodman is 65. That actually surprised me that
65.
He's 65,
Wow.
but he retired 20 years ago and he played in the league for 20 years. So, he started at a young age, and anyway, he is 65 today. Wilson Contreras, our old buddy, now with the Red Sox, he is 34.
Well, the birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary you would like announced during this segment, all you need to do is email it to totalam@kmox.com. totalam@kmox.com. Make sure you include the date that you want it announced. Happy birthday wishes going out to Carla Carnes of O'Fallon, Missouri, from Aunt Carol and the family. They're also wishing a happy birthday to Karen Hefkin Jenkins, and happy birthday to my incredible niece, Victoria Peterson.
This is the best birthday ever.
Let's talk for just a minute about St. Louis Public Library, because they are such an incredible asset to the community in so many ways. You think of a library as books? Sure, they've got millions of those. They even have an app so that you can search the catalog and reserve books and find out the library hours and locations and all the services. And they're about as modern as they can be, even though they're more than a century old. St. Louis's original search engine. And now with everybody trying to, pinch pennies, things are expensive out there. They can save you a ton of money because all those expensive subscriptions for the New York Times or magazines or genealogy services or ebooks or audiobooks, you don't have to spend that money. You can get it all free at St. Louis Public Library. Just get yourself a library card today. Also, join us on Facebook for Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. We have a lot of fun talking books, authors, etc. And I had such a great time last month interviewing local author Michelle Collins Anderson that we're going to do it again. We'll be tonight at 6:00 at the Carpenter Branch on South Grand talking about her great new book, Moonshine Women. So maybe you can join us for that tonight at 6 at Carpenter. St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine, slpl.org.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin, WashU Medicine medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Jin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything that one can do to prevent esophageal cancer?
Sure, that's a topic that's near and dear close to my heart. What's interesting for me is that the esophageal cancers we see here in the West in the United States are kind of what we call distal, so they're kind of further down, and they start from the inside and grow out. They all kind of originate from a precursor state called Barrett's esophagus. It's basically caused by years of chronic reflux. So if, a GI person does an endoscopy, sticks a camera down there, we can actually see these Barrett's lesions.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still slow on North 55, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, the right lanes through Butler Hill and Bayless up through Holly Hills, north 270, the bulk of the volume, north of Big Bend to Manchester, and then Clayton Road up to 64, southbound 61P, down onto 64 through Wenswell Parkway busy. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nice morning, sunny 60 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. County Executive Page has long maintained his work as an anesthesiologist while serving in office was unpaid. The county council says they have evidence showing otherwise. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Only on KMOX this morning, we were asking questions about practices at Care STL, the city's animal shelter. I'm Maria Aquino with the story.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly sunny today, breezy and warmer this afternoon, high 84.
Sounds like a nice night for a soccer game. City plays tonight at Energizer Park. Cardinals are in Sacramento. They beat the A's last night.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Moments ago, Air Force One touched down in Beijing. President Trump's been looking forward to his summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
He's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with.
Correspondent Wei Jiajiang reports from Beijing.
China is the biggest buyer of Iran's oil, and now boatloads are trapped behind the U.S. blockade. So on the table today, everything from Iran and Taiwan to tariffs and trade. Trump is bringing top CEOs like Elon Musk and Apple's Tim Cook and plans to push President Xi to buy more American beef, soybeans, and even Boeing airplanes.
We've gotten word from health officials in France today. One of the passengers who was on a cruise ship infected with hantavirus is struggling. Correspondent Ian Lee.
A French woman is critically ill and on a life support device with an artificial lung after testing positive for a severe case of hantavirus. Doctors say it is, quote, the final stage of supportive care.
Ian is in Omaha, where 16 of the 18 Americans who were aboard that ship are being monitored for signs of the virus. One who tested positive on the boat is in a biocontainment unit, but asymptomatic. 2 other passengers are at Emory University Medical Center in Atlanta. The legal battle between 2 billionaires continues in federal court. OpenAI's co-founder took the witness stand and pushed back against claims by his former partner, Elon Musk. CBS's Jolene Kent.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testified one of the company's founding principles was that it shouldn't be controlled by any one individual, but alleged that co-founder Elon Musk wanted to have long-term control of the organization before his departure in 2018.
Canadian tourists are staying away from the U.S. in droves.
The University of Toronto tracked cell phone activity and found a 42% drop in Canadian visits to U.S. cities last year. Since President Trump started enacting larger tariffs and talking about annexing Canada early last year,
They should be a state.
many Canadians have boycotted U.S. travel and goods. Florida tourism officials have been trying to woo Canadians back. Some Las Vegas casinos have offered currency exchange rates making the Canadian dollar as valuable as the U.S. dollar. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
NBA fans are mourning the loss of Jason Collins, the league's first openly gay player.
Life is so much better for me. I don't have to hide who I am. I can just be my normal self.
5 months ago, Collins announced he had brain cancer. He was 47 years old. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes. Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code COVER to borrow up to $10,000. Use code COVER to borrow up to $10,000.
It is 7:04 and it's 60 degrees right now with sunshine. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The Missouri Supreme Court has moved quickly to announce 3 court decisions about the state's new congressional voting boundaries.
Hours after hearing 3 court cases challenging Missouri's congressional redistricting decisions, the state Supreme Court has upheld the legislature's new voting boundaries. The High Court heard 3 lawsuits Tuesday that argued the 2025 congressional districts are not compact like the law requires. The other one attempted to suspend the new map until voters could decide if they support it. Missouri lawmakers passed the new map at the urging of President Trump in an effort to give the state's Republicans another seat in Congress. From the Supreme Court in Jefferson City, Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
The St. Louis County Ethics Committee has revealed evidence they say shows County Executive Sam Page was paid for his work as an anesthesiologist. Councilman Mike Archer says documents provided by SSM and the Department of Social Service shows Page worked 85 days since 2022 and was paid for that work.
There's 2 figures. There's a $600 figure and then the reimbursement for his dues and subscriptions, that $1,228. So yeah, he was paid.
Page maintains he was not paid and says the committee doesn't understand what they're looking at.
Struggling with understanding medical billing, where a responsible physician is reported by name but isn't paid.
The committee voted unanimously to recommend the full council that they refer the evidence to the attorney general and the prosecuting attorney. The full council voted with 1 nay vote.
It would be up to the AG whether to pursue Page's removal from office after the council vote.
Moving on to the report of the county executive.
Good evening.
Page gave his customary update and then left early to attend a town hall meeting.
St. Louis County is beginning to shape regulations on data centers.
St. Louis County Director of Planning Jacob Tremble says there are no proposals submitted to the county and are seeking to work proactively. He says they hope to have these regulations figured out in a matter of months.
From now through June, the planning team will conduct technical research and meet with subject matter experts. In July, we will begin drafting formal regulatory language.
Tremble says the goal is to have a draft of these regulations ready to present to the public in August, where they can begin to receive feedback. These regulations would only cover unincorporated parts of the county. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Mayor Kara Spencer says the police board's lawsuit against the city may have been authorized in an improper meeting.
The state-appointed board voted behind closed doors Monday to sue City Hall for nearly $68 million in additional funding. But Spencer says the emergency session was called by the board's attorney, Chris Gravel, a move she contends violates the board's own bylaws since the attorney has no authority to call meetings. Spencer, who sits on the board, also says she was given no agenda before the vote. The mayor says of considering Ram's settlement and reserves as recurring general revenue, quote, coming after our reserves is absolutely a move to decimate our city. There's no other way to interpret it, end quote. The response from a police spokesman is one line, quote, the executive session was held in compliance with the board's bylaws, end quote. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, the CEO of Ackerman is bringing home a much bigger paycheck. A new regulatory filing shows Marty Lyons earned $14.1 million in 2025, a 45% raise. That tops pay for other regional utility chiefs, including the heads of Spire and American Water, according to the Post-Dispatch.
The filing also discloses a new policy that requires Lions to use private charter flights for all business and personal travel. It cites security concerns. A consumer watchdog calls that a lot of money for a company with customers who don't have a choice, though Ackerman insists ratepayers won't cover those flight costs.
It is 7:08. When we come back, we'll have traffic and weather for you. Plus, would it help if we had E15 blends year round? And if you've got illegal gaming machines, you better get rid of them. All that and more coming up next.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
You guys know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt-attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the do-it-yourself disasters that leave your carpet soaked for days and can do more harm than good. Keep the mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet, zero resified, starting at just $139, 314-474-2020, or visit ZeroResSTL.com. Ask for the DGS special.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the 3rd generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
President Trump has arrived in China for an upcoming meeting with President Xi. CBS will have the latest on that. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, right now we're getting to that little bit of a lull, Tom, before we get to the peak at 740. There's still slow traffic out there, don't mistake me, but at northbound 55 north of Richardson to the Merrimack, slow. The right lanes don't look as bad at Butler Hill. Just kind of busy Bayless up through about Loughborough, really. Then it starts to improve. North 270, a couple of spots where it's slow, ramping on from 55 through Tesson Ferry. Just a brief delay at Gravois. Primarily Big Bend up to Manchester, and then north of there up to Ladue, some slower pockets there. Southbound 61, Highway P, down to 64, just a Prospect, and it starts picking up the pace after that. It's fine. Westbound 64, just the right lane's a little busy at Hanley to the Inner Belt. Eastbound 70, Bryan Road to TR Hughes, a couple of slow spots, and on the Illinois side, slow traffic from 50 through 159 on westbound 64. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly sunny today. Breezy and very warm this afternoon, high 84. Becoming mostly cloudy early tonight with a thunderstorm in the area. There can be some gusty winds and downpours. Then clearing late tonight, though, 57. For tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Breezy and pleasant, high 75. Thursday, sunshine mixing with clouds, a nice day, the high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, we've got sunshine and 60 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. The U.S. House votes today on a bill co-led by Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski that would permanently allow year-round nationwide sales of E15, that is fuel blended with 15% ethanol. A similar measure was stripped from last December's spending package, and a bipartisan deal was later dropped from this year's farm bill. Speaking outside the Capitol, Budzinski put the blame for the holdup on Washington.
Families are being squeezed, especially at the gas pump. Right now, the average price of gas nationwide is around $4.50 a gallon. Families need relief, and a year-round E15 is the solution.
The USDA is projecting a record 12 billion bushel corn crop this year, but warns supply is outpacing demand, meaning growers will feel the strain of unsold harvest.
The city's garbage trucks will no longer be operating in the Stone Age. Refuse Commissioner Randy Breitenfeld says until now, the city's garbage truck drivers have been using printed paper maps to drive their routes every day. But this week, drivers will get tablets they can mount on their trucks and follow their routes on.
It would list every route on there, so any driver can get their tablet, hit any route, and it would just identify exactly how to run that route.
Breitenfeld says the tablet should be assigned this week and the mounts will be installed after that.
A hot corner in the Grove will become a soccer field. Work on the sports yard is underway at the intersection of Manchester, Shoto, and Sarah. General manager will be former Major League Soccer player Rhett Bernstein.
Matt Spencer of Spencer Development tells the Business Journal the 20,000 square foot lot will become a 7v7 soccer field, futsal court, and smaller training field. Food and beverages will be sold there. After spending months getting city approval for the facility, Spencer says it seems now like the city is attempting to minimize some of the bureaucracy and really working with developers to get things done.
The entire grass field is being replaced at Busch Stadium while the team is away this week. Officials say it will be done before they return to play the Kansas City Royals this weekend. Post-Dispatch reports it's the third time the field has been replaced during baseball season since Busch Stadium opened. The grass being used is a specific species that can survive St. Louis's heat and cold.
It looks kind of shocking. I've seen a picture of it from One Cardinal Way where the whole field is just, I'm like, what happened? Is
I
it
got the same pic you did.
brown? Is it dead? From our friend Bill.
From our buddy up there.
Bill Cito.
Mm-hmm.
From his bird's eye view.
Yeah.
I had to do a double take. Wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty amazing how they do that. It's 7:15. Let's get the latest on the club from Ricky Horton, and he has inside his report our cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
Cardinals won the first game of the series in Sacramento, California against the A's last night, and it was J.J. Weatherholt in the sixth inning delivering the big blow. 3-2 pitch is hammered to right field. Is it going to stay in the park or is it going to get out? Oh, it's out! It's into the bullpen of the A's, and Weatherholt has just hit his 8th home run of the year, and the Cardinals now lead 6-3 on Weatherholt's big fly. Weatherholt's home run was his 8th of the season, and that extended the Cardinals' lead. They hung on for a 6-4 victory to give the win to Andre Palante. Palante picking up his 4th win of the year. He beat Jeffrey Springs, and it was Riley O'Brien picking up the save in the 9th inning, his 12th. Tonight, it'll be Matthew Liberatore 2-1 up against JT Ginn. Our pregame show begins at 7:45. First pitch at 8:40. We hope you'll join us. This is Ricky Horton with the Redbird Recap.
Our player of the game, J.J. Weatherholt, you scored the first run of the game with the walk, and then you came back with the big home run, but there was a lot of stuff going on in between tonight.
Yeah, it was a good day for us. Just really good to get a win there. Great to see Riley come in and shut it down. And like you said, I mean, the first inning was big, and then they kind of held us. And Palante did a good job of just kind of having a good start and keeping them down, and then we were able to add some runs late.
You know, you weren't around for this, but in 2024 was the last time the Cardinals have scored 4 runs in an inning to begin a ball game. How important was it for you tonight to be able to do that, especially after how things went in San Diego?
Yeah, that was big for us. I mean, you know, that guy's a good arm, and it's funny. It's my college coach always tells us when you face a good arm, you want to try to get him early because if they settle in, they settle in, and that's what happened. I mean, we got him early, but then he settled in, and we had a tough time after that. So that was just a big first inning.
And from baseball to soccer, here's Jen Cease with a match tonight at Energizer Park.
St. Louis City SC is coming off their first road win and first clean sheet of the MLS regular season after Saturday's 1-0 win in Colorado. City's back home now for the second of 5 matches in 15 days, hosting LAFC Wednesday night at Energizer Park. Head coach Juan Demay says the team finally got rewarded for the work they've been putting in, but the focus now quickly shifts to the next challenge.
Ready to look forward. It's the last stretch before the World Cup break. We're looking forward. I'm happy we finally got the reward for all the work we've been putting in. So right now, all our focus goes on to LAFC, making sure we are ready to go, that the plan is good, understood, and that the players are ready to go.
Demay says managing the busy schedule will be important, but adds the club still expects to compete for results every time they step on the field. one game at a time. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
In Denver, the Colorado Avalanche will try to close out the Minnesota Wild tonight. They're up 3-1 in the series. They host them at 7 o'clock. Last night, Buffalo won at Montreal 3-2 to even that series at 2 games apiece. Vegas took a 3-2 series lead on Anaheim with a 3-2 overtime win. And Victor Wembanyama came back. Remember, he was ejected in the previous game. 126-97 win over Minnesota. Wembanyama, 27 points, 17 rebounds as the Spurs won it big and took a 3-2 series lead. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Let's talk about air medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life. Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20 now. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have slow traffic on North 55 north of Richardson up to the Merrimack. And then again, it's backed up from Bayless to Weber. It's still slow up to about Virginia, though. Northbound 270 is your ramp on from 55. A little backup there, but once you merge on, it's slow to Gravel and then slow from 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270 south of Olive to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61 off the pace from Highway P down to 64 through Prospect. After that, it's a good run till you get to right at McKnight into Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley. The usual slow stuff there. Eastbound Highway 70 Bryan Road all the way into TR Hughes is pretty busy. Illinois drivers westbound 64 50 through 159. You've got delays. Other than that, it's just a little busy across the Poplar. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The weather is going to be really nice today. A lot like yesterday, but cooler. So if you thought yesterday was a little too hot, I think it got up to like 86 on my dashboard. But anyway, 73 today will be the high with sunshine and a nice breeze. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, 75. We could see a thunderstorm Friday morning. Other than that, right now, we've got sunshine and 61 degrees.
The news continues at 7:22. Victims of the May 16th tornado may struggle with their credit for years after the disaster.
The senior manager of the Community Development Research Team at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, Nishesh Chalisse, says credit card debt and delinquencies have risen in neighborhoods hit by last year's storm. Chalisse says there's a risk they'll get trapped in a cycle.
You first depend upon a little bit of debt. Maybe you cannot repay it all because you are losing wages, because you cannot go to work yet. You go into collections, your credit score gets ruined, your interest gets higher.
He points out past research shows lower credit scores among storm victims over time. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
When the devastating tornado hit last May, an army of volunteers hit the streets ready to help. In North St. Louis, a number of different groups that had been working in different ways to help the neighborhood banded together. Ahasa Jadou remembers where he was that day.
So I was actually teaching a class at a school in North St. Louis. We gathered the children out of the class, had them in the hallways. We stayed there for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then all of the children were called to come into the gymnasium together. I didn't necessarily know how serious it was because the school, I think to also keep the children calm, said that it was a tornado drill. Then I started getting calls and texts about responding to different places in the area where some elders needed some assistance. And I drove about 2 blocks away from my home, and that's when I noticed how serious the damage was and what had happened. I'm a part of a few group chats of some different, like a coalition of organizations from Black Men Build and Action STL, of course, Freedom Community Center, and some others. And we were just getting messages like, hey, check on people here, check on people here. This church has just collapsed. Like, can someone come? And so we began, literally began within 15 minutes of leaving the school, going around and trying to respond in the area. And I say trying because there were so many branches and power lines down that I couldn't get to any of the locations that people were asking to get to, which was the common theme. Like there's no way to get through this alley or to get around. I actually found an alley, drove through it, my tire popped, and then I had to go fix my flat tire in order to continue on about the evening.
Herdosha Bentham is with Freedom Community Center, which works on addressing violence while fighting to end mass incarceration. She'd headed out of town that fateful Friday for a weekend in Memphis with her sister and friends, but her heart was in St. Louis, and she jumped into action as soon as she returned.
We called people and got tents. So we drove around and just no stores was open, and people needed tents right now.
Herdosha says without power and with so many people wandering the streets, safety was an issue.
These are just regular people, organizers that's coming together saying we keep us safe. That's figuring things out those first couple of days. And so security was important, like for people to be able to sleep because there was no lights. They don't know who's driving down the street and things like that. The police were harassing some people, and people felt like they didn't feel like a heavy police presence made them feel safe. So we decided that we will get big lights, and at nighttime we'll be heavily making sure we have shifts at nighttime to provide some security and for people to feel a little bit more safe for what homes they did have.
While the city waited for a response from FEMA and the state, the grassroots organizations in North City joined forces.
I just love the way that all the organizations, we work together and we serve the people and we listen to the people. Action, they had did a tremendous job because they also were able to take in so many volunteers for the process that they had. So volunteers from Creve Coeur, all these places, but they don't know the community. And so a lot of times we were in the community explaining, helping people understand that these people are here. Everybody is here to help you. And so that was very important too, like the relationship building and allow volunteers to be able to come in and for the people to feel safe with the volunteers. So it was like a beautiful thing.
Tomorrow, hear from Herdosha and Ahasa about how things stand today in North St. Louis as we approach the 1-year anniversary of the May tornado.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Well, I've known McKelvey Homes president Jim Brennan for a long time, and I know this. Every time they sell a home, they give back to the St. Louis community. Every home they sell, they donate $1,898 to a nonprofit. They select a new one each quarter. McKelvey Homes gives back. They were founded in 1898. That's how they come up with that number. And McKelvey, ever since then, has been known for quality and for taking care of you every step of the way. Quality means experience and choice. You make the call with McKelvey Homes. They will build a home you love, and they highly suggest, and so do I, Strawberry Farms. It is open in O'Fallon. It's east of Highway K on Mexico Road. Walking trails, a lake, wooded lots, a playground. Display home now open. Stop by for a tour and ask about great spring incentives and how to get up to $48,000 in savings. That's Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri with McKelvey Homes. Go to McKelveyHomes.com. That's McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. This season, we're continuing a limited spring opportunity, offering select enhancements designed to elevate your home and your experience. From a finished basement recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades, or flexible options like design credits or closing cost savings. These offers are available in select communities for a limited time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
It is 7:30. We've got sunshine and 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brandon. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traveling in on southbound 61, you still have that slow traffic. It's actually almost midway between W and P now, down to 64 through Prospect. Couple of slow spots on eastbound 70. Lake St. Louis to Bryan, K to TR Hughes. A little busy at Fifth Street. There was a stall on the shoulder there. 370 starting to slow, approaching 94 to the Discovery in the work zone. Eastbound 64 is slow. Clarkson to about Timberlake and east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 busy at the Parkway. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Hanley is heavy. South 270 north of Olive to about Ladue is slow, but north 270, 55 to Gravel and 44 up to Ladue. Pretty much busy the whole way through those runs. It looks better. Just 141 to the Merrimack now, north 55. Still backed up. Bayless to Weber, a couple of slowdowns toward Virginia, and westbound 64, that's a solid jam, 50 to 159, and then there's slow stuff from about 3rd Street headed across the Poplar after that. Next update at 7:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we do have a sunny, breezy, not as warm day today. Temperature of 73 degrees. Tonight, clear and cool, low near 50. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, nice, high 75. Friday, a thunderstorm in the morning. Then we start to get warm. 84 Friday, 84 with humidity Saturday, and 92 for the high on Sunday. Currently, it's 62 downtown at the Arch.
The Missouri Supreme Court yesterday rejected a challenge to the state's new congressional map. 2 groups of Kansas City area residents argued the redrawn districts favor Republicans and aren't compact enough. A unanimous court disagreed, finding the new map is more compact than the maps it replaced. The decision leaves a separate referendum effort as the last route for voters hoping to overturn that map.
It's been 6 years since St. Louis County Executive Steve Stenger resigned and pleaded guilty to federal corruption charges. The state audit that followed gave the county 30 recommendations to fix what went wrong.
A new follow-up from the county auditor finds only a third of that work is fully done.
That audit was because of former county executive Steve Stinger's various activities
that landed him in prison.
Citizen commenter Tom Sullivan at the county council meeting last night ticked off a list of county troubles that crossed multiple administrations.
There have been plenty of reasons why St. Louis County needs a competent auditor. In 2024, it was revealed there was payroll falsification in the Department of Health. An employee was only working 1 or 2 days a week, yet was paid for a full week. Also in 2024, it was disclosed the county overpaid dozens of employees more than $195,000 over 8 years. Some no longer even work for the county. 2022, it was found the county overpaid Brentwood as much as $7 million in sales tax revenue. It was eventually resolved, but at a cost of $200,000 to the county. Back when Charlie Dooley was county executive, a county official embezzled $3.4 million over several years. A member of the county council was once convicted of taking cash bribes. Then there is my favorite, $2,200 for a clothes washer and dryer purchased by the county executive's office when Steve Stenger was the county executive. No one claims to know anything about it.
Sullivan tied it to what's coming up on the ballot, Proposition U, an internet sales tax measure.
It's hard to understand how voters can approve it, not when there is little reason to have confidence in county government and how the new funds would be spent.
Among the audit items still unresolved, having written into law that the county council has a right to oversight of county contracts and lease agreements.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is 7:35 and time for your money report, sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Crude production in the U.S. is expected to jump to a record next year. Some domestic producers are beginning to ramp up output in response to higher oil prices. As the war blocks the Strait of Hormuz and cuts off millions of barrels of crude from buyers around the globe, America has become a key alternative supplier to the world. U.S. crude exports have hit record highs. This morning, the price of oil in the U.S. is at $101 a barrel. Checking on stocks, tech shares are seeing a pop this morning. Traders are betting the rally in chip makers has further room to run. Wall Street looking at the potential of artificial intelligence. That's giving a lift to S&P futures this morning. And higher fuel and ticket prices are threatening to push airlines to cut more flights, which could disrupt your summer travel plans. The trade group that represents airports points out that flyers should brace for airfares to stay higher. Airlines are on the hook for tens of billions of dollars in fuel bills, according to Donna Hope, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future, because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wednesdsay Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
What's more St. Louis than the historic Anheuser-Busch Brewery located in the heart of Soulard? A visit to the brewery is a perfect way to kick off your summer in St. Louis, and there's something for everyone. Walk the historic grounds and see where Budweiser has been brewed for 150 years. Enjoy a day fresh beer and meet the world-renowned Budweiser Clydesdales in their historic stables. There's nothing quite like a visit to your hometown brewery. Reserve your tickets today at BudweiserTours.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Today, the Cards, the Athletics.
Ameren Total Access 745. First pitch 840.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is going on 7:40, so let's get you an update on traffic and weather as things start heating up, temperature-wise and traffic-wise, I'm sure. Roger Brand's keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're at the peak time for the rush hour. It's certainly busy out there, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A little bit better on the south side coming up from Festus. The only delays you're going to see is the right lanes north of Butler Hill to 270, and then the stop-and-go pockets from about the Union Road overpass up to Holly Hills. North 270, slow the whole way from the 55 ramp on all the way up to Ladue. South 270, south of 364 to Ladue. So that's a little better than some days. Eastbound Highway 70, we had an incident at Highway K. They cleared. It was in the left lane, but there's slow traffic from A to about Bryan Road right now because of it. After that, there's a little slowdown at TR Hughes, 5th Street. Not that big of a deal. Southbound 61 approaching P, down onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and then from east of Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake, Lindbergh into 170. It's backed up briefly, 170 through to about Big Bend. Westbound 64, that's pretty solid. From Hampton out to Big Bend, looks like there may be an incident there on the westbound side. If you're on southbound 170, slow from Olive all the way down to 64. 364 is busy from Highway K most of the way in Mid-Rivers around that bend past Gudermuth at the very least. And on the Illinois side, we have that jam on the westbound 64 from 50 through 159. Then it's just slow from the 70 split headed across the Poplar. Call over at Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. We have a Major League Soccer match tonight here in downtown West. St. Louis City SC takes on LAFC, and they are going to have spectacular weather, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's sunny right now, Tom, and we've got a nice little breeze that'll be kicking in, and temperatures will only get to 73. Very comfortable evening, albeit on the cool side. In fact, temperature will probably drop into the 60s pretty quickly. And then overnight tonight, clear down to 50. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds. Another beautiful day with a high of 75. Now, Friday, we'll start with a thunderstorm in the morning as a little disturbance moves to the area. Then that'll give way to some sun. We'll warm to 84, and it's going to feel like summer this weekend. The humidity comes up first on Saturday. That can be the fuel for a shower and thunderstorm at any time, the high 84. And then a warm front lifts to the north and east, and it's just going to get downright hot for Sunday. Partly to mostly sunny, the high up to 92. Right now, very comfortable 62 at St. Peter's, 63 in Florissant, 65 with sunny skies downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thank you, Joe. It is 7:42, and exclusively on KMOX, the foster program for animals through Care STL is raising questions. Care STL is the nonprofit partner that oversees animal control for the city of St. Louis.
KMOX was notified that foster parents received an email advising them to return their animal or adopt it because alternative methods have to be looked at. In this week's Care STL task force meeting, KMOX asked for an explanation. Shelter founder and CEO Wang Horak.
Those are the people that we send out inquiries about what is the plan, because we want our fosters who's been fostering this specific dog for over 2 years to join us and come up with a plan on how we can move this dog out of the system.
But fosters who have not had their dog over 180 days also received that email. We had more questions.
Maria, go ahead. Do you mind identifying yourself and with your question?
Maria Kina from KMOX. I want to know, have you gone through other shelters, made contact with the APA and see what their practice is with fosters, best practices that they do just in general with their population?
Are you speaking to me, Maria?
Well, whoever would like to answer it. If Ms. Horak wants to, whoever wants to take the question is fine.
So for the purposes of this task force, we're happy to provide comments to the media on the record in subsequent discussions. We're actually, as part of this, trying to move forward on specifically tackling the challenges that we are responsible for. And so we'll have to follow up with you on that outside of this task force forum. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Who's going to get in contact with me?
Well, whoever you direct the question to.
Well, who wants to answer the question? Let's ask that one. Well, Mr. Johnson, what's your position?
Maria, we will follow up with you after this task force. Kristen, I'll go back to you to talk about service gaps. Thanks. We'll do a follow-up via our email group and schedule the next one with our appropriate agenda alongside of it. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Mr. Johnson, do you have my email? Mr. Johnson, do you have my email, Maria Kina from KMOX?
I do not, but I believe we can reach out to you through our team.
Okay, I'll be waiting for that.
Thanks.
It's believed that's Ben Johnson, the chief operating officer for the city of St. Louis, appointed by Mayor Kara Spencer. KMOX has yet to hear from anyone from the city or Care STL. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Let's get to ins and outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend.
Swing and a line drive left center field. That's going to get down. Weatherholt will score from third. 1-0 Cardinals on the RBI from Jordan Walker, his 30th RBI of the year.
As the Cardinals jump all over the A's. Here's what happened with Jose Fermin.
Next pitch to Fermin is lined into right center field. That's going to get into the gap. 1 run scores. Walker is rounding third, and they're going to send him home. The throw is being relayed to the plate. He is safe. Walker slides under the tag. A 2-run double for Jose Fermin, and the Cardinals lead 3-0 early.
Then Joel Pozo.
Next pitch is hit up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit on an 0-2 pitch. He went down to get a changeup, lined it past the pitcher Springs, and RBI for Pozo. Another 2-out hit for the Cardinals, and it's now 4-0.
Felt nice to have a big lead, Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals strike early and never look back, putting up 4 first-inning runs as part of a 6-4 road win against the A's. In the first inning, Jordan Walker drives in the first run with a base hit, and then Jose Fermin and Joel Pozo each come through with 2-out hits. Fermin's double drives in 2. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to see his team get off to a fast start.
It was good to start the game that way. You get the guy in motion, her hits behind him, first and third, Walker drives him in, and then it was good to see a couple guys against the lefty that were in the lineup today, and Fermin and Pozo driving them in to give us an early lead. So I love the fact that we came out of the gate strong.
It's the first time this road trip that the Cardinals have scored in the first inning, and the 4 runs are the most first inning runs for the team since July of 2024 in a home game against the Cubs. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Speaking of the Cubs, Matt, they lost again. They've fallen now 3 in a row, and the Cardinals, after the Braves beat them 5-2, and the Cardinals won over the A's 6-4. Cardinals are tied for second in the National League Central. They're 2.5 back in the division. The team with them, the Milwaukee Brewers, they have come alive. The Brewers get another win, and they do it by beating the Padres 6-4. That NL Central has the Brewers now having won 5 in a row. Every team in the NL Central with a winning record. Cubs 2.5 in front of the Cardinals and Brewers. Pirates are 4 back. The Reds are 5 back. As Joe Lundberg said, great weather tonight for St. Louis City SC. They'll be hosting LAFC at 7:30 at Energizer Park. The Avalanche host the Wild with a chance to knock them out of the Stanley Cup playoffs. 7 o'clock face-off tonight in Denver. Last night, Buffalo beat Montreal 3-2 to tie that series at 2 apiece. Vegas went up 3-2 on Anaheim with a 3-2 overtime win. And the San Antonio Spurs went up 3-2 on the Minnesota Wild, blasting them 126-97, which brings us to our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. I got that one, didn't I, yesterday? Told you Victor Wembanyama coming back, and San Antonio would easily cover the 10, and they did with a big win. So let's try it again. Detroit and Cleveland tonight. Let's do just that one. And the Pistons are a 4-point favorite at home against the Cavs. Now, I missed a couple days ago. I did not think the Cavs would be able to handle the Pistons like they did at home, but they did. And so now with this series tied 2-2, I have to think Detroit is going to come out flying tonight. And I like a -4. Pistons -4. Circus Sports parlay of the day.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Cards and Come. The rivalry returns to Busch May 29th. KMOX kicks off the weekend early when Tom Ackerman hosts a Redbird Roundtable featuring Hossie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th. Full event details are at KMOX.com.
Hey, it's 7:50. Before we get to traffic, I want to tell you about Innsbrook. Innsbrook is the place where every day is the weekend. Innsbrook-resort.com. Innsbrook. I've been going there for a long time. In fact, families in St. Louis had been going there for a long time. It was kind of a secret. You could head out to Innsbrook in Warren County and get away from everywhere. Well, it's still a great place where you can get away, and it's just a nice private getaway. But so many people found out about it, and so many people have now made themselves a home at Innsbrook that it is absolutely gorgeous. They've put so much into it. The amenities are second to none. They just put a second pool in the area there, 7,500 acres, 100 lakes. I mean, lake life, the lake living, the summers at Innsbrook are phenomenal. And the privacy, the quiet, or you can go in and go see a concert. There's just endless things to do. The fireworks displays this summer, Innsbrook. Innsbrook-resort.com. Innsbrook, where every day is the weekend.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:52 and time for Roger Brand to tell us more about your ride-in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Debbie, about westbound 64 there being a stall or a crash near Big Bend. It looks like, according to MoDOT, I can't see it right now, but 2 left lanes the situation there, the creating that jam. So again, it's a solid jam. Back to about the Science Center, hasn't really gotten any worse. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, first of all, coming off 61, southbound 61, Highway P down on 64 to about the boulevard's busy. Coming out of the valley, let's call it Annie Guns to Timberlake, then it's slow at Spady, jamming at McKnight. South 170 is bogged down at Olive. South 270, 364 to Olive is slow. 55 busy the whole way up through there. Eastbound 70A and through Lake St. Louis, we had an incident at Bryan Road. They cleared it, but it's bumper through there now. After that, not so bad. 364 from 94, most of the way into Mid Rivers is slow. Northbound 55, Bayless up across River to Pears, jammed. Westbound 64, just a slowdown now. 50 through 159 west of 3rd Street. Still heavy at the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Very pleasant forecast here, Roger, from Joe Lundberg. It's going to be a high of 73 today with sun. Tonight, clear, low near 50. Tomorrow, sunny and a high of 75. Currently, it's sunny in downtown St. Louis. It is just a perfect morning. It's 61 degrees.
It's 7:53, and the Army's top civilian got pressed on Capitol Hill over chaos at one of the Midwest's biggest weapons hubs. Rock Island Arsenal sits in the Quad Cities up the Mississippi River from St. Louis, and back in March, 155 of its civilian workers were tagged as surplus, some ordered to relocate or face termination.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Army veteran herself, leaned on Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll.
I was very concerned to hear in March that the Army was suddenly reassigning employees who manage our munitions and sustainment in the middle of a war.
Driscoll told her he is taking it into consideration.
My commitment to you is, after meeting with you, I went back, talked to the team, and we will try, if we have to do similar, have similar conversations, to give more time and more grace for people to make these big decisions.
Rock Island manufactures munitions for U.S. forces overseas and is one of the largest federal employers in the region. Duckworth says a planned merger of the Arsenal's two main commands still has workers on edge.
Missouri wants to go nuclear. A 23-member task force held its first meeting to create the state's blueprint for nuclear energy development. Governor Mike Kehoe created the task force, which includes Matt Sanford, executive director of the University of Missouri's Nuclear Research Reactor.
The Radioisotope Science Center, MUR, NextGen MUR, that represents a lot of technical expertise that's been developed at MU for so many years. Also, Missouri S&T, where they're training nuclear engineers, and many other assets around the state, come together to make Missouri a great place to grow nuclear energy technologies.
Kehoe says his task force is the next step forward in an action plan after Missouri's first nuclear summit in Columbia last July.
After a wait list was created for new child care subsidy applications in Missouri this spring, the state is now proposing changes to how that list works. Christine Wynn with the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education told the State Board of Education the changes would clarify who should get priority. She said the changes would also make sure subsidies are going to families who are actually using them and also spell out attendance expectations.
Will allow the department to formally exclude protective services children from being placed on the child care subsidy waiting list. The amendment will also establish an excessive absence policy so that we can ensure that children that are not using the subsidy benefit, that their benefit can be discontinued.
Wynn says as of May 11th, more than 2,000 applications representing nearly 3,700 children are currently on Missouri's child care subsidy wait list.
It is 7:56.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I have something to tell you about that I think you'll find interesting if you have a loved one or maybe yourself aging in place at home and you need some extra help. It's hard to find. I know. There is an at-home caregiver supply shortage. Families are stretched pretty thin. So if you're tired of searching, try Freedom Care. Freedom Care, through Medicaid, lets your family choose a trusted friend or a relative as the caregiver, somebody who already knows your loved one, knows the routines and needs. Caregivers can help with things like meals, medication, bathing, mobility, all while getting paid, sometimes daily. So you can avoid the long wait lists and the rotating strangers in and out. And it's 100% free to you because Freedom Care will handle all the paperwork, all the training, the payroll, and the support so caregivers can just focus on caring. Freedom Care's number is 314-947-5139, 314-947-5139. If you're already caring for someone with Medicaid or ready to help, call Freedom Care today to see if you qualify. 314-947-5139.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers, is fueling St. Louis. All gas, no brakes. They're giving away $77 gas cards to St. Louis drivers. Register to win until May 17th at KaufmanTownsley.com. Kaufman Townsley, putting money back in your tank.
Kick off summer this Memorial Day with Artistic Decks. We're celebrating with American-style value and rolling back prices on every precision-built deck. Get the backyard you've always wanted. Call 314-280-0821. Artistic Decks, making dreams affordable.
It's 7:59. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have this jam with this crash westbound 64 at Big Bend. MoDOT says the two left lanes are blocked. I can't see the crash right now, but I can see the jam. It is pretty much back at Kings Highway. Pretty much it's moving, but I mean inching along, so not much in the way of moving. It's a substantial delay. Southbound 170 slow, Olive down to about Ladue. Then it's jammed from the Parkway to 64. If you're on the run from out west, southbound 61, still busy. Highway P onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's still slow. Chesterfield Parkway west to Timberlake, and stop-and-go pockets from Spady into that Big Bend area. It's more solid at McKnight, of course. North 270, Tesson Ferry all the way up to Ladue. Slow. Northbound 55, Bayless up through Virginia's heavy. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, stop-and-go pockets, 50 through 159, and then it's slow west to 3rd Street across the Poplar. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump arrived in Beijing last hour. He was greeted on the tarmac by hundreds of young people waving miniature U.S. and Chinese flags ahead of a 2-day summit with President Xi Jinping. On the agenda, the war in Iran, trade, tariffs, and Taiwan. Correspondent Weijia Jiang.
Both of these leaders understand that they need each other when it comes to their economies. They are so intertwined that it is in the best interest for both Presidents Xi and Trump to maintain this stability and to open up the doors for each other rather than closing them.
A year after it opened with great fanfare, Alligator Alcatraz, the immigration detention center in the Florida Everglades, is closing. CBS News Miami's Jim DeFede.
Best guess is by early July, that'll be returned to what it was before, which was a little used airport that was designed to help pilots train for touchdowns and takeoffs and that sort of thing.
We're hearing from one of the 18 Americans now in quarantine after their hantavirus cruise ship experience. Correspondent Steve Kathan.
30-year-old Jake Rosmarin has posted online about his new surroundings in a Nebraska quarantine unit.
We have a dresser and fridge, a smart TV. Here's my thermometer for temperature checks during the day.
Rosmarin, who's a content creator and photographer from Boston, says he's ordered a new mattress pad and pillows to increase his comfort level.
French officials say a passenger who tested positive before she was hospitalized in Paris is now in critical condition. The outbreak's blamed for 3 deaths. In London, a royal welcome for King Charles, who laid out the British government's legislative program for the year ahead in his speech to an opening session of Parliament.
An increasingly dangerous
and volatile world threatens the United Kingdom, with the conflict in the Middle East only the most recent example.
Plans included controlling the cost of living there and strengthening ties with the EU. Prime Minister Keir Starmer looking on amid his own fight to keep his job. Trying to lower your blood pressure? Check this out.
Aerobic and high-intensity interval training have an immediate positive impact on blood pressure. A study in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that aerobic training is one of the best exercises for significantly lowering blood pressure over 24 hours.
CBS's Michael George. Average gas prices at $4.51 a gallon today. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings. This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri's new congressional map survived several court challenges, though the fight isn't over.
The Missouri Supreme Court has upheld the state legislature's new congressional voting boundaries. The High Court heard 3 lawsuits Tuesday that argued the 2025 congressional districts are not compact like the law requires. The other one attempted to suspend the new map until voters could decide if they support it. The new map aims to give Republicans another seat in Congress. From the Missouri Supreme Court in Jefferson City, Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
We'll have an analysis of that ruling with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young coming up on the show at 8:41. The St. Louis County Ethics Committee has revealed evidence they say shows County Executive Sam Page was paid for his work as an anesthesiologist. Councilman Mike Archer says documents provided by SSM and the Department of Social Service shows Page worked 85 days since 2022 and was paid for this work.
There's 2 figures. There's a $600 figure, and then the reimbursement for his dues and subscriptions, that $1,228. So yeah, he was paid.
Page maintains he was not paid and says the committee doesn't understand what it's looking at.
We're struggling with understanding medical billing, where a responsible physician is reported by name but isn't paid.
The committee voted unanimously to recommend the full council refer the evidence to the Attorney General and prosecuting attorney. The full council voted the same with 1 nay vote. It'll be up to the AG whether to pursue Page's removal from office after the council vote.
Moving on to the report of the county executive.
Good evening.
Page gave his customary update and then left early to attend a town hall meeting. Mayor Kara Spencer pushing back hard against the city's state-appointed police board.
Spencer says the board's demand for nearly $68 million more in city funding is, quote, clearly an intentional attempt to squeeze the city dry of every last penny, end quote. She calls the board's claim that city reserves and Rams settlement money should count toward general revenue and thus the police budget, quote, absurd, warning it would force layoffs and service cuts. Spencer was also questioning whether the lawsuit was legally authorized, saying the closed-door meeting where commissioners voted to sue was improperly called by the board's attorney in violation of the bylaws. A spokesman for the police department said in an email, quote, the executive session was held in compliance with the board's bylaws, end quote. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Back to St. Louis County, where officials say they're beginning to shape regulations around data centers. Do they plan to introduce a moratorium in the meantime?
I posed that question after St. Louis City opted not to implement one, and a data center at the famous bar warehouse near the Armory was approved before those regulations were put in place. Here's County Executive Sam Page.
You know, I'm not really worried about banning conversation about data centers because it's not in front of us. It's hypothetical.
County Executive Page says they have not had anybody express interest in building a data center in unincorporated St. Louis County where their regulations would cover. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri continues its crackdown on illegal gaming. State Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says law enforcement seized 35 video slot machines and nearly $60,000 in Boone, Dallas, Jefferson, and Miller counties.
Gross, you know, in the overall take, we believe it's $1 billion industry. It's unregulated, untaxed, and it's a cash industry where there are likely to be other crimes hidden beneath the surface.
The raid included several gas stations and bars. St. Louis garbage trucks getting a major technology upgrade. Truck drivers will soon have tablets follow their trash routes. The tablets will be mounted inside of the garage trucks, allowing drivers to view them hands-free. Refuse Commissioner Randy Breitenfeld says the move was more than necessary.
Yeah, we've been living in the Stone Age forever. That's why I said enough's enough. We got to do something different.
Breitenfeld says drivers have been using printed paper routes for years. The hands-free tablets will provide drivers a safer, more modernized performance. From the KMOX business desk, United for Storm Recovery, a new initiative from the United Way of Greater St. Louis, will help residents still struggling to recover from last year's May 16th tornado. About $1 million will be earmarked for ongoing and emerging needs. The Urban League getting $100,000 for its recovery center. 314 Oasis and Westside Missionary Baptist Church will each get $50,000 for their resiliency centers. Home Sweet Home getting $100,000 to help families get beds and other essential home items. It's 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. Or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10 on Total Information AM. Time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news, Megan, on Highway 64. They cleared that crash westbound 64 at Big Bend. Lanes are back open. It's still a solid jam, though, from the Science Center to Obot, Clayton, Skinker. Then it's opening up. If you're coming in the other way, eastbound 64, well, southbound 61, crossing over on eastbound 64, still slow to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and it's still barbed up bumper, Lindbergh in through Hanley. South 170, a couple of slowdowns. Olive to 64, north 270, Tesson Ferry up through 64. Ladue is still busy. Northbound 55, you still got the backup, Bayless, Weber. After that, it's not so bad. Downtown westbound 64, west of 50 through 159, you're on the brakes. It's a little slow, Ball Avenue to the 70 split, then it's busy across the Poplar. Eastbound 44, Park out onto 70 to about Salisbury. There's just some busy traffic, and again, westbound 70 slow out past the city limits right now. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A good deal of sunshine today, breezy and quite warm this afternoon, high 84. It'll cloud up early tonight with a thunderstorm crossing the air. There can be some gusty winds and a downpour with any thunderstorm. Then it'll clear up late tonight, low 57. Sunshine returns tomorrow, a breezy, cooler but nice day, the high 75. Sunshine mixes with clouds later Thursday, the high 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunny morning, 63 in Florissant, 65 in St. Peters, and sunshine 65 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. This morning, we continue our look at the impact of the powerful tornado that ripped through the region a year ago. This morning, more on the economic impact and the businesses that have struggled to come back.
It was really like a nightmare. Of course, on that day, in the 10th Ward,
Not only did we lose homes and businesses, churches, and we lost 2 lives that day. And unfortunately now, going on 12 months later, there are some places and areas in the 10th Ward that still look like May 16th. But there are some that are definitely been on an amazing journey of recovery and rebuilding.
That's 10th Ward Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard. Anchors of communities were uprooted last year when an EF3 tornado tore through St. Louis neighborhoods. Surveys taken in the days immediately following that storm revealed that nearly 800 businesses across the city suffered damage. More than 200 reported severe damage, and at least 60 were believed at that time to be a total loss. I met the alderwoman at the Cellar Cigar Lounge on Del Mar, where it originally stood. There's just gravel. The former building suffered so much damage it had to be torn down, but it's reopened in the shopping plaza behind it.
You know, I still get people that have been visiting me for years. They'll still call and say, "Are you guys back open?" I'm like, "Where have you been?" Drive down here and see, you know.
That's owner John Nix.
When it got to this open space, whatever it had picked up, it just kind of dumped on my lot. But and the lot was like full of debris, and the cars was shoved up and toward the building and all that stuff. But the building itself, the rooftop, the furnaces came off the rooftop, so we had to put the roof back. I was really just surprised of all the people that showed up to clean up. Even this one had a broom. Yeah. So yeah, the whole community showed up. They cleaned up the lot. And then, so a lot of the people, and some of them weren't even from this area.
Nix has been a local business owner for decades, and this isn't the first time he's had to overcome a setback.
What's getting fixed up is going to be better. It's going to be more suited, it's going to be more modern. So I think that it's going to, in the long run, it can't do anything but help.
While this strip mall has a new roof, paint, windows, and awnings, pallets of bricks sit outside an adjacent shopping strip, still in the midst of rebuilding.
Over here, to the east of this plaza, there were 5 businesses owned by one young lady. She lost all of her businesses that day, and she has businesses that she had to reopen and keep going. All of them weren't retail businesses, so she has relocated.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard says that's the story across the city. Some business owners rebuilding at their original location, others relocating, and still others that have closed their doors for good. Clark Hubbard points out there's little disaster assistance for businesses unless they want to take out more loans. So close to COVID, additional debt is something many couldn't absorb. And even if a business can rebuild, they've lost customers.
And over here, this neighborhood got devastated. Academy Sherman Park neighborhood got devastated by the tornado. So even their, maybe some of their day-to-day traffic, foot traffic and customer traffic is now either not there or is there trying to put their house back together so they don't have the disposable income to come and support a business like the ones that we have here.
For a lot of the businesses in the 10th Ward, was it more foot traffic than, as well as maybe people driving here for these businesses?
It just depends on the ward that I serve in is very diverse. If it goes from Clayton Road and Skinker on the southwest end, picks up the entire Forest Park, and then it goes northeast down to Martin Luther King and Taylor. The further northeast you go in the ward, it was absolutely more of a foot traffic issue. For example, Saul's Grocer. That was devastating to that community to lose. Saul's Grocer that had been there for decades, serving that community in a different way, not just through fresh fruits and groceries and support, but also he had relationship and community. So, I'm a little short this time. Can you help me out? Those type of things, always giving back. And that was a foot traffic thing. And that goes all the way down to Martin Luther King to a lot of foot traffic things. But like I said, I had a business open up on Martin Luther King and Taylor, a barbershop that's been doing very well.
In the next year, she's hoping the broader community will continue to support business owners in neighborhoods impacted by the May 16th tornado. And long term, she hopes to see income-targeted infill housing to rebuild communities and see these local businesses thrive again. Across the region, you hear stories of community. Debbie Monterrey has more.
When the devastating tornado hit last May, an army of volunteers hit the streets ready to help. In North St. Louis, a number of different groups that had been working in different ways to help the neighborhood banded together. Ahasa Jadou remembers where he was that day.
So I was actually teaching a class at a school in North St. Louis. We gathered the children out of the class, had them in the hallways. We stayed there for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then all of the children were called to like come into the gymnasium together. I didn't necessarily know how serious it was because the school, I think to also keep the children calm, said that it was a tornado drill. Then I started getting calls and texts about responding to different places in the area where some elders needed some assistance. And I drove about 2 blocks away from my home, and that's when I noticed how serious the damage was and what had happened. I'm a part of a few group chats of some different, like a coalition of organizations from Black Men Build and Action STL, of course, Freedom Community Center, and some others. And we were just getting messages like, hey, check on people here, check on people here. This church has just collapsed. Like, can someone come? And so we began, literally began within 15 minutes of leaving the school, going around and trying to respond in the area. And I say trying because there were so many branches and power lines down that I couldn't get to any of the locations that people were asking to get to, which was the common theme. Like there's no way to get through this alley or to get around. I actually found an alley, drove through it, my tire popped, and then I had to go fix my flat tire in order to continue on about the evening.
Herdosha Bentham is with Freedom Community Center, which works on addressing violence while fighting to end mass incarceration. She'd headed out of town that fateful Friday for a weekend in Memphis with her sister and friends, but her heart was in St. Louis, and she jumped into action as soon as she returned.
We called people and got tents. So we drove around and just no stores was open and people needed tents right now.
Herdosha says without power and with so many people wandering the streets, safety was an issue.
These are just regular people, organizers that's coming together saying we keep us safe. That's figuring things out those first couple of days. And so security was important, like for people to be able to sleep because there was no lights. They don't know who's driving down the street and things like that. The police were harassing some people and people felt like they didn't feel like a heavy police presence made them feel safe. So we decided that we will like get big lights, and at nighttime we'll be heavily making sure we have shifts at nighttime to provide some security and for people to feel a little bit more safe for what homes they did have.
While the city waited for a response from FEMA and the state, the grassroots organizations in North City joined forces.
I just love the way that all the organizations, we work together and we serve the people and we listen to the people. Action, they did a tremendous job because they also were able to take in so many volunteers for the process that they had. So volunteers from Creve Coeur, all these places, but they don't know the community. And so a lot of times we were in the community explaining, helping people understand that these people are here. Everybody is here to help you. And so that was very important too, like the relationship building and allow volunteers to be able to come in and for the people to feel safe with the volunteers. So it was like a beautiful thing.
Tomorrow, hear from Herdosha and Ahasa about how things stand today in North St. Louis as we approach the 1-year anniversary of the May tornado.
And you can find out how you can help with ongoing cleanup efforts this weekend. Listen at 8:51. Let's see what's happening on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, Megan, we're still slow on North 270 approaching Gravois all the way up to Ladue. That ramp 64 onto Ladue, of course, is backed up. Northbound 141, if you're thinking about an alternate, Hawkins up to 44's jammed. There's some heavy traffic from Manchester Road up through Highlands Boulevard, and it's backed up pretty much from Clayton all the way up to St. Luke's after that, so just keep that in mind. If you're on eastbound 64, there's still heavy traffic. Spady all the way into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Big Bend, slow. South 170 bogs down at Delmar. Northbound 55, Bayless to Holly Hills is busy. 44 slow from 55 all the way out onto 70 at about Salisbury, and westbound 6450 past 159's heavy, and then a short back up Ball Avenue to the 70 split. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be sunny, breezy, not quite as warm as yesterday, but a pleasant day, a high of 73. Right now we have sunshine, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Still ahead on Total Information AM. More people are leaning on personal loans for everyday expenses. I'll talk with Matt Schultz, Chief Consumer Finance Analyst for LendingTree.
Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. This season, we're continuing a limited spring opportunity, offering select enhancements designed to elevate your home and your experience. From a finished basement recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades, or flexible options like design credits or closing cost savings. These offers are available in select communities for a limited time. Visit lombardohomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
More Americans are turning to personal loans just to get by. With me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line, LendingTree's Chief Consumer Finance Analyst, Matt Schultz. Matt, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So traditionally, what have personal loans been used for?
By far, the most common use for personal loans traditionally have been debt consolidation and credit card refinancing. So if you are paying 25+% on a credit card and you want to bring the interest that you're paying down a little bit, you can lean on a personal loan, and a lot of people use that. But what our report showed is that a lot of people are using personal loans now for everyday bills, and that's certainly not a positive sign.
Do you see any age groups relying on them more than others?
Yeah, generally what we're finding is the younger borrowers are the most likely to use personal loans for everyday bills. About 11% of the personal loan requests that we saw at LendingTree from Gen Z are for everyday bills, and that's a good bit higher than other age groups.
So when we look at terms and rates of personal loans compared to credit cards, what are the pros and cons there?
Well, with a personal loan can be really good because it generally, especially if you have pretty good credit, can give you a significantly lower interest rate than a credit card would. But the one thing that you don't have with a personal loan is that a credit card gives you a little more freedom in the long term because it's an open line of credit, and that can be good in that it can kind of act as an emergency fund for people who may not have that sort of option, but it can also be dangerous because it can give you some freedom to potentially overspend and run up more debt.
Well, one thing that I note from your study too, that consumers with lower credit scores are more likely to borrow under a personal loan for basic needs. What kind of cycle can that get those consumers into?
It can be real trouble. And with personal loans, while people with good credit can get pretty good rates on personal loans, people with poor credit can end up getting stuck with some pretty high rates. So a lot of times when you're talking about low credit borrowers, they simply may not have that many better options. So personal loans may be what they end up leaning towards.
So if someone's considering a personal loan, what are some of the things that you would recommend they consider, Matt?
Well, the first thing is to shop around and compare at sites like LendingTree, because there can be very real differences in offers that you would get from various lenders in terms of the amount that you might be offered, the fees that might come along with it, and the interest rates that come along. So that's a really important thing. But really, perhaps the most important is to understand why you're applying for the loan and understand exactly how much you can afford to actually pay off. Because just because a lender is willing to give you a certain amount of money doesn't mean that it's the right fit for you. So understanding what you need and your ability to pay that off is really, really important.
That is Matt Schultz, LendingTree's Chief Consumer Finance Analyst. Matt, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is Tom Ackerman. You ever read the label on a Budweiser can or bottle? It says, "This is the famous Budweiser beer. We know of no brand produced by any other brewer which costs so much to brew and age. Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you will find in no other beer at any price." Boy, is that true. The world-renowned Budweiser Lager beer. St. Louis, Missouri. Budweiser is the king of beers. Budweiser is also the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Brewed by the original process from the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, the king of beers is Budweiser. They're 150 years old, and so is Major League Baseball. Going back to 1876 for that clean, crisp taste, and no other beer can provide that. It's Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Let's get a quick check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have heavy traffic on North 270. This traffic reports a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. It's still bogged down north of Gravois all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55, Bayless up through Holly Hills is still kind of busy. Eastbound 44, east of 55 out into 70 to about Salisbury, slow. Westbound 64, west of 50 through 159. You've got delays after that. It doesn't look so bad. Westbound 70 kind of slow coming out through the city limits as well. South 170 busy at the Parkway. Westbound 64 Hampton to Big Bend is slow. Talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. If you're out in Wentzville and need to get downtown in a hurry, eastbound 70 is the way to go. There's just a little slowdown through 270 due to a recent stall. If you're going to take eastbound 64, you're still bogged down from Spady all the way in through Big Bend. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, looks like we're going to have a pretty day today. Breezy, not as warm as yesterday, a high 73. Clear and cool tonight with an overnight low of 50, and another nice day tomorrow. Sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 75. We have sunshine, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis County Ethics Committee says it has evidence that shows County Executive Sam Page not only worked as an anesthesiologist during work hours, but was paid for it.
The evidence alleges Page worked 85 days for SSM with invoices showing he was paid hundreds of dollars, according to Ethics Committee Chair and Councilman Mike Archer.
There's two figures. There's a $600 figure and then the reimbursement for his dues and subscriptions, that $1,228. So yeah, he was paid.
Page has long maintained his work was unpaid and stood by that defense before the meeting.
There are some people who just can't comprehend why someone would help other people and not get paid for it. And they're really struggling with that.
He also claims Archer and others don't understand medical billing.
They're struggling with understanding medical billing, where a responsible physician is reported by name but isn't paid.
Archer insists the evidence shows Page was paid, but says ultimately it does not matter.
It's a distinction without a difference because, as I said from the dais, it's taking away time. And when you're an anesthesiologist, obviously I'm not an expert in that area, but you're devoted solely to your patient.
Page says he can easily serve as county executive and as a patient's anesthesiologist by remaining on call.
What we do as an anesthesiologist is juggle a lot of phone calls, including being responsible for a patient or two patients who are under anesthesia.
Page adds the job of county executive requires him to be on call all the time.
My job as county executive is 24/7. Sometimes I sleep, sometimes I do other things, sometimes I travel, sometimes I represent St. Louis County outside of St. Louis County. It's a 24/7 job, and I'm always available by phone.
Archer was asked what comes next and suggested this could be the beginning of Page's removal from office.
That would be the decision of the Attorney General to file what's called a quo warranto action, or the prosecuting attorney to file a quo warranto action and to prosecute that. That would be their decision, not ours.
However, Page is only in office until the end of the year, and the quo warranto to remove St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery took 11 months to conclude, despite a concerted effort to fast-track the legal process. Archer says it should still move forward despite Page being on his final months.
There is a point, because there's been a violation of the charter. And, when I was a prosecutor, I had an armed robbery where the kid netted $13, and people were like, what's the point? And I said, the point is that he violated the law.
Page called efforts by the council to oust him a distraction from real business.
If they could vote me off the island, I'm sure they would have done it a long time ago, because that would be, conflict theater. But in between all of this stuff that gets attention, we're doing some pretty good work in St. Louis County.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
And the St. Louis County Council did vote last night to send that committee investigation to county and state prosecutors. Still ahead on Total Information AM, KMOX legal analyst Brad Young will look at that ethics investigation.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Neovitin began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created Neovitin, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the US using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with Neovitin, available at Schnucks, Deerbergs, and neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Job cuts at Walmart. The retail giant laying off or relocating about 1,000 corporate workers. The big box store looking to consolidate its technology and artificial intelligence efforts. In recent years, Walmart has closed smaller office hubs while streamlining some operations in the process. Higher gas, higher groceries, and don't forget surging airfares. The impact of the Iran war hitting the economy as energy costs continue to surge. Consumer prices jumped the most since 2023 in April. That put pressure on stocks yesterday with the S&P 500 dropping from a record high. This morning, stock futures are higher as President Trump arrives in Beijing. And Google has introduced a new high-end laptop segment called Google Book that will run Android and prominently showcase Gemini artificial intelligence. Partners Dell Technologies, Lenovo, and HP will debut models built on the platform in the coming months. It's expected to offer better performance than Google's Chromebooks. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Cards and Cubs. The rivalry returns to Busch May 29th. KMOX kicks off the weekend early when Tom Ackerman hosts a Redbird Roundtable featuring Aussie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th. Full event details are at KMOX.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
8:40 now, Total Information AM here on KMOX. Still some slow going on the roads. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's still off the pace, Megan, on northbound 270, just north of Gravois, all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh into Big Bend, still bogged down. A couple of spots where it's kind of off the pace. Delmar is 64 on South 170 as well. Westbound 64 backs up Hampton through Bellevue, get past Big Bend, then you're okay. Northbound 55, a couple of spots where it's busy. Bayless through Holly Hills, 44 from Park out on the 70 through about Madison is pretty heavy, and there's a slowdown at the city limits as well. Eastbound 70 is a little slow, 270 into the Rock Road, and 64 looks good. Westbound, eastbound 64, though, just a little busy approaching 159. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we're going to have a sunny day today. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, a high of 73 degrees. Right now we have sunny skies, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, and you're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. The St. Louis County Ethics Committee says it has evidence that shows County Executive Sam Page was paid for his work as an anesthesiologist. Plus, the state Supreme Court upholds Missouri's new congressional map. Let's talk about both of those with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser. We talk to him every Wednesday morning at this time. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So I'm curious for you, what questions do you have about the ethics investigation revolving around St. Louis County Executive Sam Page?
Well, I have several questions because what we heard from Sam Page was that he volunteered. What we're hearing now is that allegedly, we don't have the evidence yet, but it's been reported, as you just said, that there's evidence that Sam Page was paid. So why does all of this matter? Well, when you look at what happened in 2022, there was an amendment to the St. Louis Charter that requires the county executive's entire time be devoted to the office, and it bars other employment, or even specifically it bars independent contractor work. Sam Page's argument was he was a volunteer. So the legal question at that point was, does volunteer work, does that violate the St. Louis County Charter provision? However, if he's actually paid, I don't think there's any question that that would violate the charter. And then at that point, what's called a quo warranto, we've seen these in the past, where that's a legal action to get an official removed from office. A quo warranto action would absolutely be warranted if there's evidence that Sam Page was paid. Now, we need to see that evidence first, but that's how the legal issues break down over this particular situation.
Now, as you've heard, Dr. Page says that the medical billing isn't being interpreted accurately. Your thoughts on that? Is that just splitting hairs?
I don't think it's splitting hairs because, if he is compensated, that's the entire point. Now, if the medical billing goes to reimburse St. Louis University, where he apparently was either working or volunteering, depending on your point of view, then that wouldn't be compensation for him. If he received any compensation for that, which he's also, I believe, admitted that he was reimbursed for licensing fees and so forth, and that could also be more proof that he was actually employed as opposed to volunteering. So this is a very fact-specific situation here, Megan, but the implications are profound in terms of whether either St. Louis County prosecutors or the Missouri Attorney General's office would pursue a quo warranto action to have him actually legally removed from office.
So let's move on to our next case. And that is, well, actually two cases that were heard before the Missouri Supreme Court this week. Then basically the High Court is saying that the state's new congressional map stands. These weren't the first challenges to this map. What were the basis for these challenges this week?
Well, the initial challenges to the new map, and when I say the new map, it was drafted and passed by the legislature in 2025. The question was compactness, and that is the new map that was drawn to split up the Kansas City area is one of these longer. We all know what gerrymandering now means, but it's a longer congressional district as opposed to one that's tight and compact around Kansas City. So the plaintiffs were arguing that that is a violation of the congressional districting process by creating a very long gerrymandered district. That was the main thrust of their argument. The Supreme Court, though, ruled, and I say Supreme Court, Missouri Supreme Court, ruled unanimously, Megan, that the map stands because just having a map that's so-called gerrymandered isn't a violation of law. In fact, the courts have said they are not going to step in for political disputes when it comes to the drawing of districts. They're only going to step in if it violates the Constitution. And having a long, weirdly drawn district does not in of itself violate the Constitution.
Now, I'm really curious. I understand there's another part of this that looks not just at the compactness of a district, but also the makeup of the district. I'm really surprised that there have not been more challenges about the minorities in the original district and how this has been split up.
Well, keep in mind, Megan, the Supreme Court literally just ruled 2 weeks ago that dividing a district by race is in of itself a violation of the 14th Amendment. In Louisiana versus Calais, the Supreme Court ruled just 2 weeks ago that having a congressional district drawn along racial boundaries violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So I'm certain that the plaintiffs in the Missouri case did make those arguments initially, but in light of that Supreme Court decision, that argument literally would have no validity.
Got about a minute left here. One other part of this was there was a challenge to how this was handled by the Secretary of State's office because there were signatures seeking a referendum on this map that were sent to the Secretary of State at the end of last year. He's being accused of delaying certification of those signatures for political reasons. Does this question basically stop at the high court now?
It does. In fact, this argument, I don't believe that this argument is going to go any further here because there's been no finding that anything was decided improperly. For example, the Missouri Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that the states on this particular issue, that the district, the challenges brought as far as the quote slow walking by Denny Hoskins really did not have any merit. So as far as I can tell, all of these issues now related to the map have been resolved. Unless there's any additional or new litigation between now and November, the map that was drawn in 2025 will be the map that's used in the upcoming November election.
Brad, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. He joins us every Wednesday morning here on Total Information AM. Coming up, we're going to talk with the KMOX Garden Hotline host, Michelle Reeser-West. She is helping with a special cleanup this weekend to help tornado victims in the city.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs. So this is not the time for, I hope it works out. That's why Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines can impact your returns, dealing with issues like taxes, outliving your money, and long-term care. Retirement Simplified, May 19th and 21st. It's complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. 636-230-8824 or at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Bring your home back to life with Zero Res, a fresher clean that you can actually feel. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and whole home air duct cleaning starting at just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them about the DGS KMOX deal.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, the host of the KMOX Garden Hotline, calling on any of you with pruners, trimmers, and tarps. to help with ongoing cleanup efforts in areas damaged by last year's May 16th tornado. It's in cooperation with Grassroots Redeeming Love. Michelle Reeser-West joins me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line. Michelle, thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to promote this event that we have coming up this weekend.
I think a lot of people might be surprised that there are still some cleanup needs in neighborhoods that are trying to recover from last year's storms. What are we seeing out there?
My goodness, there is so much left to do in North City. There is still a lot of debris that is left over, a lot of vacant lots that still have a lot of storm damage, a lot of brush now that is overgrowing those areas, but really a lot of debris still. So that's what we're going to be working on this weekend. Garden Hotline is going to be there, and we're partnering with Grassroots Redeeming Love, and we've got a giant dumpster coming out, and really we just need manpower to come out, and there's bricks, there's debris, there's pieces of houses everywhere. So it is kind of surprising that a year after this horrible tornado that we're still needing a lot of boots on the ground to get this work done for the residents in the community that's still very much affected.
Michelle, which communities are you going to be in? Which neighborhoods?
So we will be on Saturday. We're going to be in the Kingsway East neighborhood to start the day from 9 to 11. And after that, there are a ton of organizations that are working throughout the day. But from 11 to 1 o'clock, all of the organizations are kind of converging on the Fountain Park area. And within the Fountain Park area, there are going to be a lot of things happening, food, they're going to commemorate the day, but just kind of a joining of those organizations and folks that have been out there helping and volunteering for the last year.
If someone wants to help and they get registered for this, we'll give people details in just a moment. What kinds of things should they bring to help?
So one of the things why I wanted to get involved with the Garden Hotline is that gardeners already have a lot of the tools that we need. Pruners, loppers, wheelbarrows, rakes, hard rakes, tarps. It's all things that us as gardeners typically have, and homeowners already have these tools. So, just showing up with a pair of gloves is also fine. If you don't have those tools, we'll have tools for people to use. But really, we just need people and hands to help. We're going to be doing a little bit of planting. We're going to help one of the residents clean up their yard and do a little bit of spring planting for them. But mostly what we're doing is going to be debris removal. So you don't have to have any kind of experience at all. You just have to have a willingness to be there and a desire to help out this community.
So where can people get a little more information and RSVP?
So, if you want the exact location, go ahead. You could go on the KMOX website, kmox.com/events, or you can look at the organization that we're partnering with, which is Grassroots Redeeming Love. Their website is redeeminglove-stl.org. If you guys can't make it out to help and physically do the work, they would also love your help with any kind of donations or contributions in that way.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much. Really appreciate you pushing this forward.
Thanks so much.
That is KMOX Garden Hotline host Michelle Reeser-West. She is also the director of horticulture at Pointer Landscape, joining us this morning. And we said those websites pretty quick. So again, if you are interested in signing up for that and helping out this weekend, you can go to kmox.com/events, or you can go to redeeminglove-stl.org. Once you RSVP, you'll get a link to the exact location that you need to show up for on Saturday to help out with this tornado cleanup. It's now 8:55.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Skin cancer is on the rise in older adults as people live longer and accumulate skin damage.